So, tonight we will be delving into episode 2 of The Cave of Shadows, following the original episode last week. I'm joined tonight, there's myself, Tom Marin, your humble GM. I'm joined by the charming Josh Hartley.
Oh, thank you.
See, still being nice.
Still being nice, yeah.
The eloquent Ben Porter.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to really struggle finding adjectives for everyone. He's going to get really obscure, like the organised Charlotte Porter.
That's me. That's me.
And the lankiest of Santas. See, that one's easy. Callum. How are you all doing, folks?
All good. Now that we've got Twitch working.
Now that we are live.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank everyone for their patience this evening as we've got everything up and running. I'm going to do a very, very quick recap since I've already done it once, technically. So, in the last episode, our heroes, the Frogs of Faerûn, the miscreants that they are, consisting of Godel, the halfling rogue, Morgrim, the dwarf barbarian pirate, Chen, the human ninja monk, and Meris, the half-elf druid, journeyed to the eponymous Cave of Shadows, where they met the merchant Khalil Sif, who had been done over by a pair of orcs, which they swiftly put down after Chen took a couple of blows. They agreed to go into the caves, as they were going to do anyway, for Khalil and look for his stolen belongings. And in doing so, ventured to the left-hand side of the Caves of Shadows, where they fought another orc brandishing a spear, and his dire-rat pet, made pretty short work of those, and ventured into the final left-hand room, where they snuck upon an ogre that seemed to be giving some sort of instructions to an orc. Unfortunately, the stealth did not go to plan. The ogre ambushed Chen and dragged him into the room, where he nearly died again. But thankfully, the remainder of the group, Godel, Morgrim, and Meris, were able to overcome the ogre brute, save Chen at literally the last second that they possibly could, and have now finished taking a short rest in the ogre's bedchamber. And that is where we come back to, as we find our 4 misadventurers just recovering from an hour of relaxing. So, what do you all want to do?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but you usually get used to a certain smell, but like the smell of this ogre's bedroom is kind of getting to me, and it's not passing.
Pretty ripe.
Yeah, it stings the nostrils.
It's stuck in the back of your throat.
Oh, I can taste it. So there's another half of the cave that we need to check out and see if we can find any other loot.
Swag. All right. So remind us, Tom, from where we are, what pathways are visible to us.
So at the moment, the only route that is open to you is back the way you came, to the south. Where you fought if you recall, the ogre sort of Winnie the Pooh'd himself through the corridor towards you.
Stupid ogre.
Where you had sort of scrambled over his remains to rescue Chen. So you can, if you so desire, make your way back out that way. That appears to be the only route available to you.
Is there anything else in this room? Is it just...
Not really, no. This room was surprisingly barren. You may recall you retrieved a rather sizable gem off the ogre's neck when you downed him. But his actual chamber doesn't seem to have sort of here be swag. You did find a bag under the bed which had a little bit of coin in it, which I recall you taking.
Yes.
But beyond that, there's nothing else here that would serve you any better.
See, while we were just chilling out there, would have I had a chance to sort of check out this gem, maybe give it, is appraise a thing in D&D 5th?
Appraise is not a thing in D&D 5th. They streamlined the skills quite a lot, so a lot of the sort of more redundant skills, which I would probably argue that appraise is have kind of fallen by the wayside.
It's not
I
redundant
think
when you need it.
probably the best sort of skill for a check like this is going to be something int based, I would say. So it might just be a flat intelligence test if you're trying to kind of determine a value. But let me have a quick look to see if there's any skills that I think might be applicable to this kind of check. Although I'm probably going to say just flat intelligence. Yeah, let's go with flat intelligence on that.
Cool. So that is just a flat D20 for me.
Okay. And you've rolled a 15. That's a good roll. I mean, you're a bit of a fence, so you're no stranger to jewelry and the like. This particular gem is of quite good quality, to your surprise. You would estimate this particular, it's a large ruby, is worth about maybe 50 gold pieces.
All right, hey, not bad, not bad. Well, we'll take that. Well, take that to market and see what we can fetch for this.
So to recap what you found, you have the gem worth 50 gold pieces. You found a bag under his bed with 20 gold coins in it. He also had a pouch with 8 gold pieces on his belt as well.
Nice.
Right. Well, guys, unless you particularly want to hang around in this guy's room for much longer, shall we go back to the ravine?
Yep.
And see if we can figure out a way over that.
Let's head back.
There's the ogre. Found him.
So. Ooh.
Let's see if
Okay.
I can get my token to
You
work this
start
time.
to head south again. So you can indeed see the remnants of the ogre ahead of you before you come back to the table and the body of the large rat and the orc. Godel has just dashed off ahead of you guys.
Yeah, I thought guys, what the hell? Come on.
We're telling a story, you.
What are you waiting for?
Throw you over. There you go.
Right.
Okay. No problem. So, you will recall this large chamber. This is sort of a large cave-like element. It's split down the middle by a sizable crevice. At the crevice's narrowest point, it spans about 10 feet in width. At one time, there was a rope bridge that connected both sides, but now hangs down more so from this side than the other. Evidently having been cut across from you. It seems somebody heard your arrival and has cut themselves off from you.
How rude.
I know,
Okay,
right?
so I think I do have an explorer's pack, so presumably...
So as you kind of glance down, the crevice is about 20 feet down. So it's a good drop, certainly a perilous drop if you weren't ready for it.
Come on.
10 foot. I could probably leap that.
You reckon you can leap 10 feet? Can you leap 10 feet, Josh?
I can't, but this guy's significantly more skilled than I am.
Tom, remind me,
Yes.
what are the contents of the explorer's pack?
Oh, you're asking me a question now, mate. Let me quickly find out for you.
I'm just trying to find it myself.
No, that's okay. An explorer's pack is...
I couldn't rework my thorn whip into some vines.
It's not going to be strong enough to support you getting over there. You could probably use it. I mean, you could maybe use it as like a guide rope, but it's not going to be the best. It would certainly be perilous, to say the least.
I love
Explorer's
level 1.
pack. Okay, Ben, you have got a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinder box, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, a water skin, and 50 feet of hempen rope.
Well,
I say
what
tie
would
the
it be
rope
to-
around Godel and throw him over, and then he can just secure it over the other end.
or I could actually.
What's over the other side, Tom? Is there any...
Dexterity acrobatics to be specific.
So I'm gonna take a little running. Oh,
Oh.
Okay. I'll take I have a running start, and I'm going to jump the 10 foot.
Hold on, before you do that jump, Josh.
Uh-huh.
You can take hold of this rope.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to suggest you threw it over to me, but yeah, sure. I'll grab this, and yeah, that way, the rest of you guys, if it's about 20 foot down to the bottom, you could just climb down on a rope, and then you can climb back up using the rope that I have.
Yeah, I've got an explorer's pack, so I have a. But
Yes,
can we see the bottom of this ravine?
Actually, sorry, just to correct myself, it's not acrobatics; it's athletics.
Oh, I'm panned to that.
Right, I'm probably better doing that then because I get +5 to athletics. So.
Okay, go for it then. Give me an athletics.
On you go, more grim. Dun, 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 dun.
Whoa, we don't have that music clip. What are we doing?
I'm getting Helm's Deep fight.
Okay. There is a moment of tension as Morgrim sort of takes a running jump and leaps across the crevice. You clear the first 5 feet with little difficulty. You begin to, at the last minute, start to doubt the power of your jump, but fortunately for you, your feet just land on the edge. You sort of got the last inch of your feet hanging off behind you as you kind of crunch down, and you see a few pebbles fall out from underneath your boots. You have succeeded.
Hey.
Nice.
So
Good economy of effort there, Morgrim.
Can I see the bottom of the ravine?
Say that again, sorry?
Can I see the bottom of the ravine?
You can, yeah. You've got dark vision, so it's not hard for you to see down
How
there.
far down does it go?
20 feet.
Okay. And the snapped portions of the bridge, how far down do they go?
They go down on this side, not very far. Only maybe about 2 feet on this side. There's about 7 or 8 feet on the other side.
So is there like a post that I can tie my rope around?
There is, yeah. There's posts on both sides.
Yeah. So that, guys. What I'm going to do now is I'll tie my rope here, and then I will. We can all lower ourselves to the bottom of this ravine, and then if Morgrim, you just chuck a rope down for us, and then we can climb back up.
Okay.
Simples, right?
Tie off your ropes. Who's going to clamber down first?
I'll brave it.
Okay. Can you give me an athletics check?
Oh yeah, 8. Come on.
It's okay. It's a wall against a rope against a supported wall, so you're okay. You sort of clamber down. It's certainly not graceful by any stretch of the imagination, but you clamber down to the bottom.
I shout words of encouragement as he does it.
I'll go down next then.
Level
Don't
1.
fall.
Level 1, where the environment can kill you. I mean, that is true of all levels, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
Who's going to go next?
I'll go down next.
All right, Maris.
Pulling up my. Come on. My sheet.
Maris grabs the rope.
What do you do?
And begins to descend.
Yes, sorry, I just need to pull up my thing. Come
Sorry.
on.
So
Oh,
Tom.
the stream's ended. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, it's back up.
It's back on.
yeah, I was going to say, working
So-
on mine.
Tom, see when they come to the other side, do they get advantage because I'm pulling them up or anything?
Right, here I go. There it is. So, athletics, did you say?
Athletics, yeah.
Did it work? Did it roll?
Oh, look at that.
Whoa!
With panache, you grab hold of the rope and slide down with the deft skill of a pro. You're no issues whatsoever.
Excellent.
And Chen?
Here I go.
One question before I do this, because it might. What is the overall effect of having a short rest in that room?
You regained your 3 hit points. That's what happened.
I got that from Josh.
Did you? I apologize. Then you get to roll a hit dice and add your con to it. So, for you, you are hit dice 1d8, I believe. So you get to roll 1d8 and add your con, so +1. So yeah, it's not a great roll. You get 3 more back. I mean, you're not bad.
Right, hold on. You're saying that's a bad roll, but he has literally just doubled his hit points.
I mean, it is a bad
That's
roll.
important because if I fall,
Yeah, so you have effectively used your hit dice for today, so you can't recover any more health with your hit dice with more short rests, whereas the rest of the group still can.
So I got Godal's down there at the bottom. All right, Chen, you're like a ninja, so this should be no issue for you.
Famous last words.
I'm kind of tempted to do the run and jump just to.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
Whatever you wish to do.
No. I'm going to descend and then climb back up.
Okay.
So descend.
Solid.
Nice.
Yeah, you even more impressive than Mary, showing off that that ninja style training, your monk training. You clamber down with relative ease, and it is then Godel, presumably, to clamber up the other
Is
side.
it worth looking around to see if there's anything in the ravine?
Yeah, you can have a look around the ravine. That's not a problem at all. Glancing around the interior of the crevice, there's nothing sort of apparently down here. It seems that this is quite literally just a natural crevice.
Okay.
No items of worth. Nobody sort of discarded their valuables in a pit.
That's fine.
It is just what it appears to be.
Okay.
All right, so do you want another athletics check for me to climb up?
Tom, I don't know if you heard me asking earlier, but do they get any advantage with me helping them?
Yeah, I will say at this side, because you can help them up, I will let you have advantage on the check.
Yeah.
Because Morgrim is there sort of heaving the rope and grabbing your hand, which is
Oh,
good.
thank God.
Yeah. Godel gets sort of about 15 feet up, and there's kind of a crack as some of the cliff face gives way beneath him. Just as he's about to topple down, Morgrim's meaty hand kind of clasps on the scruff of his neck like a cat sort of grabbing its pet, and you sort of heft him up.
As you're doing that, I just say, I had it in hand.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
Looked like it.
At that point, can I please note the passive perception of Godel and Morgrim? So if you check on your character sheet, there should be a passive perception score down on the bottom left.
Bottom left is 13.
13, okay. And for Morgrim,
14.
a 4.
14.
Did you say?
14.
Can't be right. For your passive perception.
Oh, 14.
Passive wisdom, perception, 14.
Oh, 14.
14.
There we go. That's much better. Sorry, I heard 4. I was like, what? That's not healthy at all. Okay. As the two of you are sort of recovering, having yanked Godel up from a perilous descent, you both hear footsteps coming towards you. Someone is trying to move quietly, not doing a very good job of it, and you can see sort of shadows, rather appropriately in the Cave of Shadows, moving in your general direction, coming from the north.
Okay. Can I, I presumably hear where they're coming from. Can I now take a look and try and concentrate on what might be? And given that we've just heard footsteps, I'll draw my bow and arrow.
While he's doing that, I will shout, "Show your faces, cowards!"
Okay.
Can I attempt to intimidate them?
You can, yeah. Well, you can attempt to intimidate the first one, certainly.
Yeah.
Give me an intimidate roll.
13.
Okay. You see out of the darkness, Morgrim, you can see this because you can see in the dark. There are 3 familiar-looking shapes. They appear to be that of orcs coming down towards your location. They don't seem quite as heavily armored as the ones that you fought outside and earlier on. 2 of them look in sort of a state of unrest, as if they've recently been woken up, but they are handling spears. Another one, the one at the front, is brandishing a knife, and as you've sort of shouted through, the one at the front is kind of reluctantly shifting sort of back and forth on his feet, not too sure about approaching further. But the other two of the spears seem undeterred, and we're going to go into initiative now, folks.
Ooh.
If you can click on
Remember
your
to select your token, otherwise Roll20 does not like that.
I like how the chat are still telling me what what Morgrim's passive perception is. 14 damage.
Thanks, Scott 1T.
Okay. Some fairly decent initiatives coming up here. Not too shabby.
You spoke too soon.
I always roll crap on initiative. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's fine.
I forgot that you could play music in this. I was wondering what on earth was happening to me there.
What I like to do, right, is I like to sort of lurk on Roll20 on my other games, and if I see someone go in and start working on their character sheet when it's not like a session, I'll start playing like really creepy music.
Excellent.
So they'll just be kind of working away on their character in their bedroom, letting that and hear it.
I shall remember this.
Okay, the orcs, they are not too fast moving, thankfully for you guys. They are going to outpace Morgrim, however. Perhaps it's that slight element of surprise they've still got, although not mechanically surprised, if anyone starts correcting me on that. So, it is going to be Gordel, first and foremost. You can't see a great deal, Gordel. You don't have much light up here. But you can hear the steps coming towards you.
So they don't actually have eyes on them?
No, you don't, because you can't see in the dark, can you?
No, I cannot. What I'm going to do is I will just take a 5-foot step here, and I've got my bow and arrow ready, and I'm going to wait until one comes into the light so that I've got a decent shot on them.
Okay, so you're gonna ready a shot if someone steps into the light.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, next up in the initiative order is Maris. So you're still at the bottom of the pit.
So I want to get out of the pit.
Okay. So you will be making another athletics check. You won't be making this with advantage, unfortunately, because Morgrim is otherwise distracted.
Is otherwise engaged.
It will be a flat check.
Okay. So what am I checking against, sorry?
Athletics.
Did it work? 1.
Oh dear. You rolled a 1. So as you sort of grab the rope and scramble up, you get maybe about 10 feet before your foot slips from under you. You slide back down the rope and land on your arse, sort of burning your hands as you do so from the rope. You take 3 points of damage.
Oh gosh. So do I allocate damage or do you do that?
I can do it for you. That's
Cool.
no problem.
I just wasn't sure what you do and what I do.
Then it is Chen to go.
I'm going to do the same thing, but try not to fall.
Okay, so you kind of
roll a
jump
1.
past Meredith, grab the rope from above her, and start to clamber up. Go for it. Much better. Yep, you pull yourself to the top.
You just stand on me
now-
as you walk.
Yeah, you pretty much sort of boost off Maris's shoulder and clamber up the rope. Meanwhile, at the top, the orc with the knife sort of intentionally drops back, momentarily sort of shaken from Morgrim's challenge, allowing the ones with the spears to advance past him to a very unfortunate Chen. Can you see them now, Gordel? You can go there if you want, Chen. That's fine.
Is it slightly further?
Gordel, can you see him now? Josh?
Had my mic on mute, sorry. Yes. Yeah, this guy I can see, no problem.
Okay, do you want to take a shot then as he walks into view?
I would love to. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
13.
13 on him is a hit, bang on the money.
Woo. So it's obviously not a sneak attack, so that'll be 6 points of damage.
Nice. The arrow sinks into his shoulder. He's still standing. His eyes were originally leveled at Chen, but as your arrow slams into his shoulder, his gaze quickly shifts towards you.
As he's getting closer to me, can I draw my rapier now, or is that
No, because you
have to
had
wait?
action ready.
Cool.
Would I have been able to ready my bow staff up?
No, you spent your whole turn getting up there.
Okay, cool.
This one is going to race into Chen. He comes dashing around the corner, spear drawn, and he lances it towards that same wound that you've received twice over now. Let's see if he is as effective as his comrades. No, that is a miss. That is a 3. And actually, Godel, this one gets an attack on you because I forgot they have the aggressive ability. So as a bonus action, he can take another move action towards you.
Nasty.
So he's going to take a lance at you with his spear as well in retaliation for your bow shot.
Okay.
Ooh, that's not too shabby, actually. So that is going to be a 19 on your AC.
Yeah, that's gonna hit me.
Okay. The spear pierces into you for 7 points of damage.
Oh. Ow!
Morgrim, you are
Ow!
up.
Ow! 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 Ow!
I do not have any rages left because that was a short rest we took, wasn't it?
That was a short rest.
Yeah. So it's just going to be a halberd attack on the nearest dude to me.
On the one attacking Godel,
Yeah.
go for it.
So he sees this disgusting creature lash out at Godel and feels weirdly protective of the smug little shit. And
It's a 1. No good. You kind of slash out with the halberd, but the proximity of Chen and Godel and your sort of own wariness of not catching them with a stray blow means that you're overcautious and he's able to avoid the attack. But it is then Godel to go.
Okay. I'll drop my bow, draw my rapier, and stab at thee.
Stab at thee. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So I won't. I don't have advantage, but I will get my sneak attack damage, won't I?
You will get your sneak attack damage, yes.
Poor Chen
You have
every time.
2 allies engaged with him, in fact.
15.
15 is a hit. Oh, that is nasty. So that's 11 damage off the weapon, plus another 5 sneak, so that's going to be 16 points of damage. You brutalize him. You thrust your rapier up through under his jaw, straight up into his brain pan. He is dead.
Sneak attack
Yeah.
rolls are ridiculous, man.
Yeah, not bad. Merit.
So I'm going to try and climb up this rope. My chat's just...
Merit has found her greatest enemy.
I'm going to try opening the wee pop-up's not working. So I'll give it a go again. Come on. There we are. Right, so
You
athletics.
vine whip the guy.
No, because he's 20 feet up.
And do I have any spells
What?
left? Did I not use them all? Did I regain anything in a short rest?
You don't, unfortunately.
No, so I don't have any spells left.
Let me just quickly double check the range on Thorn Whip. Oh, he would be within range, but yeah, you don't have any level 1s left, unfortunately.
So did I roll there? Did it go?
No. Thorn Whip is a cantrip. You're good to go.
All right, cool. So
Yeah, you could Thorn Whip from there if you wanted.
let's do that. I never say no to a thorn whip.
And
You can pull him down to the
pull
ravine
him
as well.
off
So
the edge as well, potentially, yeah. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, if it works.
Tom, I have to ask: have you got the Wilhelm scream lined up?
I don't, unfortunately. No, it's not on here.
We need that on the soundboard.
You can add that in post.
Yeah.
So let me just change my page. I don't know what I'm meant to be. Core. There we are. Right, thorn whip. Let's give it a go, guys. See what happens.
Go for it. 18 is gonna be a hit, so that is gonna do. Roll some damage for me on that. Six
Nice.
points of piercing damage. Very nice. And you can choose to pull him closer to you if you would like.
I would like
Pull
to.
him off the edge.
Yes, let's try that.
You want to do that?
Yep.
Okay. So if that's going to pull him down to the bottom of the pit with you, and he's going to take 2d6 damage there.
Okay.
Would you like to roll me 2d6 damage? So /roll space 2d6.
So what did I do?
Type that in.
Sorry. /
/roll
roll. Yeah.
space 2d6,
Just like that.
and then enter.
Nope. What have I done? / Is that backslash? / roll?
/roll
Yep.
space 2d6.
That's what I didn't do a space.
Tension's
Rolling
killing
the
me.
dice.
There we go.
8.
Ooh, 8 points of damage. So he takes 6 from his initial thorn whip damage.
Yeah.
Plus he takes another 8 as well. So he is in a pretty bad way
Cool.
as he plummets down. Takes 14 points of damage. Nasty. He's still awake. Is he still awake, actually? That might be enough to put him down. No, he's still awake. But he's rough.
Yes.
There is a crunch as he lands in the crevasse next to you. It's Chen to go. To do what?
Stay basically where I am. So if the guy with the knife gets
Okay. At that point, the guy with the knife does indeed come out, brandishing it in your direction. Yeah, you are. That's definitely going to hit, yep.
Oofed.
Tense. Some damage. Chen, you rolling damage? Okay, he takes 6 points of damage, and then you're going to try and attack him again?
Yep.
Go for it. That one's not enough. No, he takes kind of clop from the first one and kind of learns his lesson and quickly steps back to avoid the second one. He's then going to stab forward at you with the dagger. Oh, that's not good. No, it's 10 to hit your AC, which is going to be a miss. Meanwhile, in the crevice, this one is going to stand up, glare at Meris. He's in a bad way. You can see kind of his shoulders dislocated. There's blood running from where the thorn whip tore across his leg. And he lances out at you with his own spear.
Okay.
Oh, that's terrible as well. That's 10 to hit you on your AC, which I believe is a miss. Against
13?
Meris's AC.
It's 13.
Yeah, your AC is 13.
Yeah.
Morgrim.
Okay, I'm going to swing out at the cowardly knifey boy.
You'll need to step towards him. Just that one there, yeah?
Yeah. So I take it I don't apply the reach from the halberd that way because it's...
Oh, yes, I forgot you had... Yeah, you can use your halberd to swing at him from there if you want.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot you had that. That is a hit, bang on the money.
12 damage.
Oh, slashing. Oh, he goes down hard. As the halberd comes out, it just kind of tears open his stomach, and he falls to the ground, clutching his innards rather ineffectually. Anything else you want to do, Morgrim? You could still move if you wish to.
I think what I'll do is I will rush further into the cave, roaring and shouting profanities.
Okay. A Han Solo charge down the down the corridor. Godel.
Oh well, there he goes. Having seen this orc here get thrown over the crevasse, I'm going to pick up my bow, make my way here, and seeing that he is still standing, I'm going to take a pot shot at him just to try and finish him off.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. Scoop up your bow. Yeah, you look down over the edge, just shooting arrows, just ping, bounces off the gravel floor beneath you.
It's worth a shot.
Maris, you are going toe-to-toe with a very badly wounded, spear-wielding orc. What do you wish to do?
I'm just going to pull out my scimitar.
Pull out the scimitar. Like
Mercy kill.
Give me an attack with the scimitar. Oh, it's no good.
Oh.
So, slash out with the scimitar, but the orc proves surprisingly still nimble given his beaten condition, and manages to dodge aside. It is then Chen to go.
I don't actually have any ranged weaponry, so I can't do a whole lot. Are there any rocks on the cave floor that I can find?
There's no sort of sizable boulders, but you could pick up kind of a decent-sized stone and lob it at him if you want.
I would like to try and...
I'll allow that, yep. So give me a dexterity attack. And you're going to add your proficiency bonus to this because I'd say anyone could throw a rock. So that's going to be a 9. That's not going to hit, unfortunately. You sort of grab a nearby rock and lob it down at him. He just sort of sees it coming and manages to duck underneath it. This orc proving surprisingly capable given his almost crippled condition. He's in a sort of blind rage, kind of knows he's on the edge of death and his only chance is to fight his way out. He's going to stab out at Maris with the spear. That's another garbage roll. He gets a 9, which comes nowhere near Maris. He's beaten up. He's struggling, guys. He's fighting. Morgrim, you're up.
Gonna rush back and chuck a javelin down at that guy.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You run to the edge, draw out your javelin, lob it down. It doesn't hit him. It smashes into the floor of the crevice, kind of sticking out of the dirt. Godel.
Well, I mean, nothing else for it. Let's try this again.
Okay.
There we go. How do you like them apples? Yeah.
He is very dead. He had 1 hit point left. The arrow just straight down into the top of his skull. There's kind of a vacant look on his face as he stares at Maris and then collapses into the dirt.
I mean, like, aside from Josh's good roll at the end there, that must have made for a pretty pathetic display. This one mutilated orc. One guy throwing rocks at him, the other one trying to slash him.
Godel will just point out, well, it's a good thing that we get to tell this story and no one else. So
Agreed.
we
Let's
can
not speak of this
that.
again.
How you doing down there, Maris? You alright?
Yep, I'm good. The orc's dead. I can now finally try and get out.
Right. Let's get you up then. So I sort of, kick the dead bodies out the way.
Right, let's see if I can get up.
Take hold of the rope. Come on,
okay, so you're
Druid.
going to have advantage now because you're getting assistance.
17.
So, yeah, you passed with your first roll anyway, so 17's more than enough. Sort of bit of an adrenaline rush from the combat gives you the energy you need, and you kind of pull yourself up the rope, grab Morgrim's hand, and clamber up onto the other side.
Excellent.
Maris, you know how I did you a solid there by taking care of that orc? No chance you've got any of that healing magic left.
I don't think I've not got any
No
magic
spell
left.
slots.
I've no slots left.
Okay. This is
Godel
fine.
is looking pretty roughed up. He's got a pretty heavily bleeding wound from one of the spear attacks that sort of took him in the rib cage.
Okay.
This is fine.
I'm gonna mosey on up ahead and have a rifle through the
I'll
orc's
follow up.
possessions.
So this dimly lit, smelly cave is obviously an orc sleeping quarter. There are 5 makeshift beds scattered across the floor. 2 of them look recently slept in. There is a sort of a few bits of very crude-looking dice sort of littered around the floor, and bits of sort of discarded food and waste. This is sort of the orcs' den, you suspect, where they had rested prior to your unruly arrival.
So is there any other openings in the walls or passageways, or is this a dead end?
So there is a single door here. Again, it's another kind of very poor quality wooden door that's kind of been fitted in sort of at a later date of the cave's sort of usage. Sort of bars the way ahead.
I think so. I had sort of appraise the room, have a look at the door, and go, right. Well, I think we know where we're going next, but you're looking a bit worse for wear, Banks. So I think it's time for a little time out for you. Let you catch your breath.
Sure. Yeah. Let's take a breather.
Putting Godel in the corner.
No one puts Godel in the corner.
Okay. What's the plan then? Are you taking a short rest?
Short rest,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
And where would you like to take that? Are you going to take it here, or are you going to
What, and
retreat?
these lovely beds that are
Well,
waiting
yeah.
for us?
Delightful.
Can I have a quick listen at this door first? See if I can
Have a listen.
hear
Okay.
anything on the other side.
Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah, give me a perception check.
Oh, whiff.
Okay, you stick your ear up to it.
This
with
is a door, guys.
5. It is deathly silent.
It sounds like
Does sound like a door. That is
Good news,
very astute
guys.
observation.
This is definitely a door.
I can say 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. This is a door.
Door.
Yeah, I think we do need to take that short rest.
I would like to heal.
So, yeah, I would like I think I need to heal. Scruffy guys just put in the chat. Banks getting tucked into one of those beds by Morgan is a surprisingly wholesome image. Will you read me a story, Morgan?
Don't push your luck, boy. So
Right, yeah.
while they're resting, Tom, I'll sort of stand sentry, like kind of keeping an eye out.
Okay.
So I'm sort of
Okay, so
sitting about here so that I can see down the corridor and keep an eye on the doors at the same time.
Okay. So Godel and Maris kind of collapse on the beds. They're not particularly pleasant, but at least gives you a chance to catch your breath. Sort of immediately tend to your wounds and sort of stop any immediate bleeding. Are you both wishing to use your hit dice now?
Yes.
Yes, please.
You as well, Maris?
Yes. So how do I do that? Do I just click the hit dice? The D8?
Yeah, if you just click the hit dice on your character sheet, that will
4.
roll it for you. Yep,
Ooh.
so you heal 4, so you're fully healed,
Yay.
and Godel heals 5.
Not quite fully healed, but a damn sight better than I was.
Yeah, you're looking a lot peakier.
There we go. All right, guys, I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Put me back in, coach.
Okay, so full of piss and vinegar, Godel jumps up.
Hurrah!
He's ready to go. He's had his
Let me at him! Let me at him!
Are you making your character the scrappy
No,
dude?
I mean, like, I think he kind of makes himself the scrappy dude of the group.
Kind of want to kill Godel now.
Okay,
Please don't.
what are you doing?
Could just take them out and split the...
Well, we've established that this is a door.
Very good.
I'm gonna.
Shall I check it for traps,
Yeah.
Morgrim?
Please do.
Yeah. I'm gonna give the door once over to check for traps and if it's locked.
Okay, give me a perception check. There's no evidence of any kind of trap feature on this door.
Don't GM me. It doesn't appear to be trapped.
I will GM you. That's my job. What you do manage to notice, it's very obvious, is that there is a lock on the door, and it is currently locked. It's a very crude lock from your observation, but it is a lock.
All right, guys. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna have to pick this, and I'll use my thieves' tools on that.
Okay, give me a thieves' tools check. This is going to be dexterity based.
Yeah, so we didn't complete. You told me not to complete the proficiency in this, so I'm just going to have to manually type it, right?
I think if
So,
you
dexterity,
click
there we
on
go.
it-
How's a 10?
So if you'd clicked on Thieves Tools, it should give
Yeah.
you a choice for. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cool. 10 is enough. Yes. With a
Huzzah.
practiced click, the basic lock unlocks, and the door almost eerily swings open an inch or two.
I kind of strike a pose of like, check me out, I'm the best. Like, just no big deal, no big deal.
Hands on hips.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I always take a little bow.
So
as well.
while he's doing that in sort of barbarian stage whisper, I'm like, check the other side, you twat.
Oh yeah. Can I see anything through the open door?
Sort of pushing the door open using the light provided by your associates, you can see beyond the door appears to be a storage room. The only exit is the door that you have come through. There are 4 wooden crates in the middle of the room. There is a wooden barrel with metal bindings against the wall, an iron box on the far wall, and a sack sitting on a shelf. Jeez, oh, that's fun.
Can I step in this room now? Yeah.
Try saying
hang
that
on.
with a drink in you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I can't see it. Like,
I know you can see it. Give me a second. Sack sitting on a shelf on the right wall, and a wooden cart in the far corner. And I will make it visible to you now. So enthusiastic.
I can't help it.
There we
Well,
go.
I think
some would say
I found
petulant.
out nice stuff.
There's
Right.
a sizable hall in here.
What does it smell orky in here, or is it?
There's like a lingering scent of. It's like when you sort of go into someone's house and it has that kind of smell of the person. It's a bit like that kind of effect. It's a thing. Like people have a smell. Like I when I go to people's houses, that I know that it smells like them. Not in a bad way. Just like their general scent.
Feel really insecure
I know what
around
you
you
mean,
now,
Tom. I
Tom.
understand.
Don't make it weird. That's a normal thing. Chat will back me up on this, I'm sure.
No.
I'll back you up.
Thank you, Callum.
It's just like
You can have advantage, Callum. Callum gets inspiration.
like slowly realizing here that Tom's been in my house quite a lot, so he's catalogued my house smell with my personal smell.
But I always think, people that have cats, their house smells of cat. So does Tom think we smell of cat?
Well, he's here, so you can ask him.
Tom, do we smell
I
of
mean,
cat?
your house kind of has more of a baby smell these days because you have a baby.
True,
So it's got that
yeah.
kind of
Correct.
Go away.
smell. It's like because you use like a lot of cleaning stuff, don't you? To like care for your baby and that, so it gets that kind of baby smell to it.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing.
I'll
It's
do
just,
that.
it's just a thing. Don't make it weird. This is a normal thing. Anyway, storage room.
Okay, so I start loading up the cart with some of the.
Well, just before we do this, perhaps we should, do a quick inventory. Let's just see what this guy has.
Well, you can check it when it's on the cart, Banks. So
There's actually a very quick sort of observation by you, Morgrim. There's more stuff here than will fit on the cart. It looks like there were already things here.
right, okay. So we need to prioritize what's of value and what's shite, because the orcs probably didn't know any better. So let's have a quick look through the boxes here
well, that's
first.
that's a little presumptuous. The orcs might have known what's valuable.
Have you met an orc?
I'm just saying.
Banks, have you?
So you actually broke up there.
Says you, have you ever met an orc, Banks?
I pressed the wrong button. What have I done? Yeah. Sorry.
Maris has just killed herself there.
So
There was like a big red cross came
couldn't
up
handle
through your body.
couldn't handle the casual racism.
I thought it was X for close the box.
No.
So I tried to
All right, okay.
kill myself.
So I'll jemmy open one of the crates
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you forcibly open the crates. Not difficult to do. They seem to contain supplies for the most part. More sort of mundane equipment. There is another coiled 50 feet of hempen rope, 2 empty sacks, various sort of clothing, sort of local clothing, the kind of quite loose fitting clothes that you've seen the people of Kalimshan wear. Nothing fancy or ostentatious, just practical.
They've got a little Primark label on the inside.
Pretty much. Yeah, sort of affordable, but practical. There are 20 unused torches, and then in another one of the crates there is some bread, which is starting to go a little bit stale. Plenty of cheese and some dried jerky meats as well. They are salted and are in sort of edible condition, you would say.
Are these crates like stamped or anything like that?
They have sort of trading house stamps on them, which don't really mean a great deal to you because you don't really know the trading houses of Kalimshan.
I sort of nudge Banks.
There is kind of a merchant
point
stamp
that
on
out
it.
to him because no one.
There is also in one of the crates a crossbow with 10 crossbow bolts.
Nice.
If anyone can use that.
I think that sounds.
I'm quite happy with my short bow, to be honest. But by all means, if anyone, it's a little big for me, to be honest.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a crossbow, but if someone could
Can I
make
use crossbow?
better use of it than me, then is that a specialist weapon, a crossbow? Are you training in it?
I think you're proficient with it. I would certainly hope so.
Martial weapons and simple weapons I'm proficient with, so
Yeah, it'll definitely fall within one of those two.
well,
You're definitely proficient with that.
I will grab a crossbow if no one objects, and
Well, I
probably even if they do object, because I'm a bit of a bully.
I
So
think Chen was wondering if he was able to carry it.
was he?
Yeah.
If I can.
Well,
I'm trying to check on what it falls under in terms of category. It's because everybody else has got a range.
He doesn't have a ranged weapon. Ben's
It's up
just
to you guys.
checking the book.
Simple ranged weapon. I can probably use it because I'm proficient with some.
I think that might be a martial weapon. Let me just check.
Crossbow comes under simple ranged.
Oh, does it?
Crossbow light.
Yeah, it is a light crossbow.
All right.
Paid 140.
It's up to you who you wish to dole these things out to.
Chen does make a point, Morgrim. You can chuck your javelins. He hasn't got anything yet.
He's quite flimsy, let's be honest.
Well, it's true that he is flimsy, but all right, boy, you can have the crossbow.
I'm just thinking pragmatically here. That's it.
Yeah. Right, boy, you can have the crossbow. If you break it, on your head be it. Try not to fall over
Okay,
when
I
you're
take it
using
from
it.
him, sort of nod with like straight.
Okay, so Chen takes the crossbow and the crossbow bolts. What are you doing next?
Right. Well, we need to. Well, first of all, I mean, is it going to be worth our while hauling all of this back to town?
Well,
Because if
this is the merchant's goods, presumably, so he's going to want them back. But
but this looks
The-
like
the
it's
food-
more than just his stuff.
if the food's off, then that's gone. But we need to work out what's his. These boxes are marked. Do you know what's for him and what isn't?
Ooh, I don't. We could maybe go outside and check what his
Because
merchant lodge he's with.
it's a dead cert that if we go out with all this stuff, he's going to claim it all.
Exactly.
And we also need to get it all back out across that bloody ravine.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
you aren't really going to be able to take the cart out because of the bridge being gone on the ravine. You will need to take the individual items and sort of bag them up. You've got a couple of sacks here, so you can bag up some of the contents, but you're going to need to be sort of a bit choosy with what you take. Bearing in mind there's still the barrel, the box, and the sack as well that you haven't looked in.
Well, let's have a quick look in the barrel.
Okay, you crack open the barrel. It is a barrel filled with fresh water.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, it is valuable, but not particularly exciting.
Okay.
Let's have a look in this bag.
Okay, you sort of pick up the sack off the shelf. It's actually quite weighty and jingles. As you look in it, there is 50 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Here's what we're after, guys.
All right. Well, I start bagging up the clothes.
Okay. Bag up.
Yeah, I'll help in like bagging up as much of the goods that we can.
Okay, I mean, you can easily bag up the clothes, the torches, and the rope if you just want to leave the food behind.
Yeah, I think the food's a goner anyway.
Tom, did you say the food was all right, or if it was
the breads? It's all edible. The bread's sort of on the staler side, though.
Okay.
The dried meat is fine. The cheese is fine.
Like the bread's like at the stage where you wouldn't want, you if you put it in a toaster, it'll still be fine.
You'd eat it if you were a student, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Right. So, but like between us, can we carry all this stuff if we like divvy it up out of the crates?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you divvied up the contents of the crates and sort of broke it between your backpacks and the sacks that you found,
all right.
Yeah, you could probably cart this.
Cool.
So we'll load it all up.
There's still the iron box as well that you haven't opened yet.
Oh, I'll have a go at that then. I'll open that.
Okay. Opening this box, it's filled with straw padding. Within the box itself, sort of very cautiously placed in amongst the straw padding, are 3 vials, individually placed sort of throughout the box, so as not to knock into each other. Each has a slightly different appearance. One of them appears to contain a bright red fluid. One of them contains a sort of porridge-like mixture. And one of them contains an oak brown liquid.
Maris,
Yes.
do you know what any of these are?
Do I know what any of these are? Do I have anything to check against?
You could. Let me double check your spells. You could make an Arcana check. You have that trained. So
Okay.
you can make an Arcana check. Giving them a quick glance over, you can't identify them as such, but looking at the sort of textures of them and taking the caps off and giving them a little smell, they each have quite a unique aroma. The bright red fluid has sort of a quite sweet smell to it. The sort of porridge-like fluid has quite an unpleasant methane-like smell to it, and the oak brown liquid has kind of a smoky smell to it. You get the impression these are probably magical potions.
Okay.
If you were to take some time with them, you might be able to identify what they are.
Okay.
But that would be like a rest.
Yeah.
To actually properly.
Yeah. So will we take them with us?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And keep them in the box so they're protected and all that.
How big is this iron box?
Well, I was about to say I sort of.
It's quite, to say how small the potion vials within it are. It's actually quite sizable.
I was
quite
gonna
hefty.
suggest
It's about
splitting
sort
up
of
the
3
potions,
feet wide.
Oh, hiding them.
and that way, because they're obviously separated from each other for a reason.
Yeah.
So if each person, if we separate them between us,
Okay. Right.
I want the red one.
So you take the red one. And then laughing, I sort of give the fart one to Banks, and then I keep the brown
Okay.
one.
All right, why are you giving me the stinky one?
Oh, it's a completely
vulnerability-
random process, Banks. That was all.
I don't have that kind of do I know.
Morgrim, can I just get a perception check from you, please?
Yeah. Oh,
As you are the only person who sort of interacted with the cart at all, as you were originally going to use it to put things on it, just as you're sort of finishing searching through the items, you kind of glance back over at the cart, and you notice something a bit unusual about it. Just looking at the structure of the cart, underneath it, there seems to be something strapped to it.
okay. I go over and have a look underneath the cart then.
As you kind of go over, sort of crawl down underneath it, you can see underneath the cart a sizable sword in a sheath has been affixed, hidden underneath the cart itself. The sword is pretty big, sort of akin to a greatsword in size. Very unique in its design as well. It's kind of got this obsidian black scabbard, a very unusual designed hilt, and as you kind of pull it loose from the cart, you can see inscribed on the hilt are the words Obsidian Reaver.
This sort of like a shuddering gasp as I draw it.
Yeah, as you kind of, there's that kind of shing as you kind of pull it out of the scabbard. It is this very, very unique looking blade. I'll show you a picture of its design.
Oh,
Whoa.
that is sexy.
No, it's not at all sort of a Kalimshan styled blade. It's a very sort of contemporary blade design. Certainly stands out from, you know, the blades you're more familiar with and the more crude weapons you've seen people use.
Okay. I mean,
Would I have-
I'm in complete ecstasy at the moment, so I don't notice anything. I'm just like admiring this blade.
Would I have like any idea on what kind of value that thing would hold?
Not really glancing at it. It's certainly a very, very fine craftsmanship. You don't really have any kind of skills related to sort of steel work or anything like that. I don't think Morgrim does either, does
Would an Arcana check work to see if there's any
it?
magical?
You could certainly give me an Arcana check on it to see. And also, if anyone has it trained, knowledge history is also relevant here.
I think I've got.
No, I do not
My
have that.
Arcana's
Charlie just
22.
critted Arcana, so.
Okay, looking down the blade, Maris, there's definitely evidence, more in the hilt than anywhere else, that there are very subtly inscribed arcane runes, sort of engraved into Obsidian Reaver. While you can't confirm it, you certainly get the impression that this may be enchanted in some way.
Okay.
Well, if the sword is magical in some respect, that could be that's almost certainly the most valuable item in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Certainly could be. So what are you doing?
So I, without consulting anyone, just sort of sling it over my back. Sits quite comfortably there.
Yeah, it is. The scabbard is sort of designed to go over the back because of the size of it. It would be very difficult for you to wear it at your side. Okay. Anything else you wish to do in this room, or are you departing?
I think we've done everything, haven't we? Or is there anything? We've took in the box. We've looked in. Yeah, I think we've done everything.
Is there any mark on the cart at all, or anything else with the cart?
The cart doesn't have any kind of markings on it. No, the cart is devoid of any evidence you can see on it that would suggest who it belongs to. Equally, the chest that you found the vials in doesn't have any kind of mark on it either.
Cool.
Right.
Okay.
Just the crates.
Well, we've loaded up as much as we can. So shall we head back out and catch up with our friend, and let's get back to town.
Yep. Let's go.
Okay. You make your way back out. I'm not going to make you make checks. You can very cautiously. You take your time doing it now, and you're under no kind of risk.
Yeah.
Helping each other, you're able to sort of cross over the crevasse. You cross over the crevice and make your way back outside. You kind of pass your sacks around as well to kind of help share the load as you use the ropes to get up and down. As you get outside, you are greeted by a familiar face, that of Khalil Sif, the gentleman you rescued earlier today. Sort of sees you come and says, "Oh, my friends, I'm glad to see you are well. I feared the worst. You've been gone for several hours. I worried that the orcs had got to you too. I was contemplating giving up hope and taking my leave, but it seems I was right to stay. I trust everything went well. You seem well laden."
Aye, indeed. Yeah, we've got all of these goods, and Godel just puts the sack down that he was carrying in front of him and opens it up. So what exactly did you have loaded up on your cart?
Oh well, I had a number of wares that I was transporting. I had some food, mainly for the journey, but also for my arrival. I had some clothing I was going to sell at market, a few other sundries, and then you see his eyes kind of glance over to you, Morgrim, and he notices the blade across your back. He says, my blade, Obsidian Reaver. I was taking that as a gift. That belongs to me.
Who are you taking it to?
It is a gift to the fine Amir Hasani of Albahas. You recognize that name. Amir Hasani is sort of the de facto leader of Albahas, and by proxy was the individual who hired you for this task.
I'll be taking it to him now.
But it's okay. I will come with you. I need to see it is delivered.
I sort of look at the others to see what they're thinking of this.
Of course, I mean we'll deliver the blade, but by all means you can come along as well. We managed to retrieve it after all, so it would be good for the leader to recognise us for retrieving it.
And make sure you don't take all the bloody credit for it either, Khalil.
There's no need for that. It's been my charge. I wasn't to know that these damnable orcs would attack me while I was seeking some refuge.
All right. Well.
Rightio. Well, it looks like we've got all of your goods here. We've got the clothes. The bread was going a bit stale, but the rest of the food is all right. So shall we? The only thing is we haven't been able to retrieve the cart. They put it on the other side of a ravine and cut the bridge, so we can't recover it now.
My camel bolted after we were attacked anyway, so we struggled to move it unless you were in any state to drag it in the wares. So I wouldn't recommend it.
So, without further ado, shall we head back and get a well-deserved reward?
Yes, I suppose we shall. He starts to kind of walk off in the direction of Albahas.
As he's walking off, I wait for him to be out of earshot, and then I sort of grab Banks and I say to him, "Did you hear him mention any of those potions?"
He did not.
What'd you make of this guy?
Sorry, well, you broke up there. Sorry.
What do you make of this guy?
Well,
But
As far as I'm concerned, he's got what he wanted, and anything that he is not claiming for is ours. So, and that is frankly the end of our. As soon as we deliver that sword, that's the end of our interaction with this chap. So, do I trust him? No, but I don't see if we've got anything to lose just by delivering this sword. If we're going to be there, we'll be known as the folks who retrieved it from the orcs. So
seems a
that's
shame
good
to
thing.
give such a nice sword to some rich twat, though, when it's going to sit in a mantelpiece.
Aye, well, just no harm in having a bit of goodwill from a rich twat.
True enough.
Anyway, I thought we handled that rather well. All said.
Alright, suppose we better follow Khalil. Get back.
Yeah,
get
let's make sure he gets into no more trouble.
Okay. With your swag in tow, you begin the journey back to your base of operations in Albahas. It's about a day and a half overland travel on foot. Khalil is actually quite cordial with you. He seems a bit wary of Morgrim, but when you make camp that night, he sort of offers you to enjoy what food you have that you've taken from him. It says that he was planning on selling what was still in any decent condition, but he'd rather see his new friends and protectors well fed. So it says that to everybody but Morgrim. You do see him kind of quite frequently. His eyes will kind of glance over at Obsidian Reaver. He seems really uncomfortable sort of having it out of his care, but doesn't say anything throughout the duration, just sort of sidelong glances periodically.
If I was to try and probe for more information on the sword, would he be receptive to share anything, or is he quite evasive?
What are you going to ask him? Role play it out for me.
So, I mean, obviously the sword has a name. What can you? I'm just curious. What can you tell us about it?
Oh, I only know what I've been told. It's a powerful blade, enchanted at some time in its history, if not created as such. It was once a weapon that belonged to a self-styled bandit prince, an individual known as Jamar Issar. It's not known to me, at least, how he came to be in possession of such a unique blade. I'm sure you've noticed the design is rather unusual. But it accompanied him on his sort of crusades and his infamous reputation as he plundered the deserts of Kalimshan, and some say beyond. Not that I know any details, but the blade was always seen at his side and earned its reputation from his fearsome tactics. Not one for taking prisoners, wasn't Jamar.
Do I recognize the name Jamar Hassar?
You can make me a history check.
I don't have that trained.
In this
I know it's there. It's there. How's a 7?
You do not recognize that name. Not at all. You're not native to Kalimshan, so it's local laws and legends.
Yeah. Well, I will say to Khalil, forgive me, I'm not from these parts. Can you tell me more about this Jamar, this bandit prince?
Nasty bugger. From what I know, would basically lay siege to any merchant caravans, travelers, explorers that would stray away from the roads and civilization, and some on them as well. Was said to be a sight to behold in combat with the blade drawn. The blade held as much as a reputation as Jamar himself for its unusual appearance. I'd be curious to know its origin. That is not for me to worry about.
Yes. Well, and you'll have to forgive me. I'm ignorant to the the world of magic as well. Do you know what exactly does the enchantment on it do?
He sort of shrugs his shoulders and damned if I know. It's magical. That's as much as I can tell you. It's a magical artifact. It has a lot of worth, and he sort of looks a bit nervous when he says that. But I know the Amir is very much looking forward to receiving it.
And we shall see that he gets it.
He looks less than convinced when you say that, but doesn't say anything.
So, why does the Amir want this blade?
More importantly, how did Khalil get it?
How did I get it?
Yeah, good point, Maris. How did you get this?
I was given it. It's not mine. I'm transporting it for an associate of mine.
Right.
Who is gifting it to Amir, Hasani, as a token. He is attempting to wed the Amir's daughter.
Ah, I see. Who can you disclose who your associate is?
It's not really for me to tell.
I'm just making small talk. It's no big deal.
No, he is a powerful individual. Let's leave it at that.
You're a very weird man, Khalil. You know that.
Oh, food. Yes.
Yeah. Let's dig into this cheese.
Good. And he sort of doles out the food from the sacks to you all, even some to you, Morgrim. Smaller portions. I never asked. I apologize for my ignorance. What brings such eclectic foreigners to Kalimshan?
Oh, I'm a man of the world. I love to travel. So and this is just somewhere that I've wound up and exploring. So yeah, I quite like it. Quite like it here. Quite find it quite charming.
See. Well, I'm glad you like our desert lands. They're not to everyone's taste, but they're home. What have you, fine lady?
Traveling.
Directs that at Maris.
Rather than calling Morgrim or Jenna lady.
Just traveling.
Very vague. I like it. And you, my hooded friend, there, so looks over at Chen.
Lift my head up slightly, look over towards him, and kind of pull the face mask down slightly, and just say something like, "My master sent me," and put the mask back and go back to my food.
Talkative bunch. Okay. Yep. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. You all make sure you get some rest.
Of course. Have a good night. Shall we organise a little watch over the night just to make sure nothing happens?
A little watch over Khalil,
Yeah.
perhaps.
With the great sword drawn. Do I? No one would know. Maris, over the course of that evening, you're able to give the vials a closer look, and carry out some basic sort of minor tests and taste tests. These are 3 magical potions,
Okay.
which I will show to you now. If I can get roll 20 to play ball. Stop it! Why are you doing this? Why you do this? There we go. So the red fluid is a potion of healing, which you guys should all be able to see now.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shocker.
The runny porridge-like potion is
Stinky one.
Yeah. is a potion of enhanceability, specifically bull strength.
Oh no, Morgrim, you're clearly going to be better holding on to this rather than me. Shame.
And the Oki potion is a potion of bark skin. There you go.
Again, that's probably a good thing for you to have, Morgrim.
Pretty good, yeah.
So it makes your AC 16, essentially, if you use a potion of bark skin.
For 1 hour,
Yeah.
though.
Incidentally, if you wish, Morgrim, Maris could also inspect Obsidian Reaver, but I don't know if you want to let that off your person.
I will let her inspect it, but I will remain there.
Just
while she...
Vigilant.
Sat next to her the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like glaring.
Yeah.
So you are able to ascertain that Obsidian Reaver is indeed magical. It is a +1 greatsword.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound like much, but in 5th edition, even +1 weapons are rare.
All right.
So they do magic damage, don't they?
They do magic damage, and it's +1 to hit and +1 to damage.
Nice.
No,
So strange going from Pathfinder to to D&D 5.
it's one of the things I prefer about 5th edition. Like, the whole point of 5th edition is magic items are supposed to be rare, and even like +1 weapons and +1 armor are supposed to have like character and background, which I think adds a bit more than just like having slots filled with random items. Which I do like that element of it. I think they get a bit trivialized in Pathfinder. And
Yeah, I've got my character in Pathfinder's got like just littered, pimped out with magic items.
Yeah. I mean, this is a sizable haul. Even 3 portions and a magic sword is a hell of a find, especially at first level. So you've done quite well for yourselves.
Good stuff.
Rightio. Well, good to know what the sword actually does. So we'll get up tomorrow and let's return this sword to its rightful owner.
Well, hold on a minute. Right. So, first of all, we don't know who's passing this sword on to the Amir guy. We don't know what Khalil's going to say to this Amir guy when we go there tomorrow. Do you trust him?
We should definitely go with him.
Yes, exactly. If we go with them and we find out what the score is, and there is no harm whatsoever in a rich and powerful man owing us a favour.
Don't get attached to the sword.
I'm not attached.
My sword.
Is it looking down at it lovingly?
You just go to bed like holding it and stroking it.
Look, Morgrim, there will be other swords.
Not like
There will
this
be
one.
other swords.
Not like this one.
I know you do, man. But
Okay.
things are more. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Carry on.
Just gonna say, some things are more valuable than a material possession, and having a filthy rich man owe you is very valuable.
Right, fine. We'll go and see him.
Cool.
Okay. You collect your things, you break camp. You're not that far now from Albahas, about another 3 or 4 hours of travel finds you back in the city itself, in the town. It's by the time you get there, it's midday, so it's quite busy. The streets are bustling with activity. Port sort of cosmopolitan selection of people, so you don't sort of stand out too much. You certainly do stand out a little bit, but not to the extent that everyone's kind of glaring or staring at you. You draw the occasional glance, especially Chen because he looks like he's about to rob the place. But otherwise, people don't really pay you too much mind as you kind of make your way through the town itself. Where are you going to head to?
Well, I'll just say to Khalil. So, when are you planning on presenting the sword?
I was going to present it as soon as I got here. To be honest, that was my task. I intend to see it fulfilled as a point of urgency.
Well, chaps, shall we escort Khalil and make sure the sword is returned?
Yes.
Let's go then.
Oh, change of soundtrack.
Appropriate music.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, Khalil will lead you through the busy streets of the town of Albahas.
Oh, that's so cool.
Current base of operations. You can hear the distant sound of the sea, sort of in the distance, sort of the various noises of people going about their life, sort of various hecklers and street callers selling and peddling wares, people talking and discussing the day's events as you sort of wander through this very bright, a very warm, but overall quite inviting town. Eventually, as you sort of travel through the central marketplace, you come to a location you have only visited once when you were first given the task to go to the Cave of Shadows, and that is Amir Hasani's homestead, which is actually overlooking the marketplace, strangely enough, and it looks like this. As you kind of see this very grand, very opulent building, sort of looks over the market stalls in the center of Albahas. Khalil sort of weaves through the locals like a practiced member of the community before you make your way up to the Hasani abode. At the door, you see a lightly armored guard. They don't obviously wear heavy armor because of the temperature. Who sort of looks down at you, raises an eyebrow at Khalil and the four of you. Your business? Khalil says, I am delivering a gift to the great Amir. These are a number of individuals who I believe are tasked with a duty for him. He sort of looks past.
Yes, we were tasked with investigating the Cave of Shadows, which we've just come back from. There was some orcs there which we have dealt with.
All right. I'll see if the Amir is available to take your visit. Hold one moment, please. He ducks inside. You hear a conversation and the footsteps of a servant disappearing deeper. You wait for a few minutes. The guard sort of just stands in the doorway, watching you, eyeing you suspiciously. And when the servant returns, he looks back out to you. The Amir will see you. He asks that you relinquish your weapons as before. You did this when you first came here.
Yeah.
Just into the side room. Khalil sort of interrupts and says, we will do this, of course, but the blade carried by the dwarf is a gift. And you see the guy kind of looks down at it. And he, much like Morgrim, his eyes kind of glint a little bit as he kind of takes a curious look at it. Says, as you wish, you may take the blade, but ensure it stays in the scabbard.
Oh, I think we might have gone offline, guys.
No! That's the cool bit.
No, here we go. We're okay. We're okay. I think we're back.
Yep.
Yeah, if you get the network error, if you just refresh it.
Okie doke.
I can see it.
Your end rather than our
showing.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
No,
yours.
That's fine. That's fine. False alarm, everyone. Sorry about that.
Panic the patrons.
freaking
Josh is
everyone out.
causing unnecessary panic. Okay, you are shown him. You relinquish your weaponry, with the exception of Obsidian Reaver, and flanked by the guard and led by a servant dressed in very basic attire. You are shown into the reception room of Amir Hasani. Almost as soon as you step foot in, a number of servants make their way into the room carrying glasses of wine. They also have a number of trays with dates and figs on, which they place out on a table in the middle of the room, and one of them sort of gestures for you to help yourselves while you await the Amir.
Much obliged. And Godel will immediately grab a glass of wine and start chewing on a date.
Just to contextualize this, you guys are still, like, you've been out traveling overland, so you're kind of dirty.
We're not well presented.
Yeah, you look pretty scruffy at this point in time. You've got kind of sand in your beards and, in your hair, and you're a bit road worn and still blood on your clothes. So you're not showing off. It's coarse, it gets everywhere. You're not showing off your best angles here. But within a few minutes, you see the door open on the opposite side of the chamber, and a figure that you haven't met before. You spoke to his sort of seneschal the last time you were here, who kind of gave you the assignment, enters. But this figure you recognize as Amir Hasani himself. He looks like this.
Ooh, fat guy.
He is a full-figured gentleman,
Robust.
dressed in bright, opulent clothing. He has in his hand a sort of golden, jewel-encrusted goblet, and is equally sort of bedecked with jewelry himself. It's pretty clear from his complexion that he is not native to Kalimshan. At least, certainly doesn't appear that way.
Okay.
He has a much lighter complexion, but he seems to have adopted the clothing and the attire and the styles of Kalimshan with relative ease. He sort of walks over, kind of casting a discerning eye across all of you, and allows himself to fall into a sort of very plush chair that is sort of brought out for him by the servants. He speaks in a deep, almost Brian Blessed-esque voice, and says,
Are you going to be copying his voice, Tom?
I will do my best. It says, "Ah, my friends, I see you have arrived bearing gifts and good tidings, I assume. Tell me what you have come to tell me." And he kind of clasps his hands together as he places the goblet down on the table beside him.
Yes, Mr. Hasani, and forgive our less than presentable attire right now. We have literally just come off the road. You tasked us with investigating the Cave of Shadows, and we've come back to report, but we've also retrieved this as well. And Godel gestures towards the blade that Morgrim is holding.
At that point, Khalil sort of interrupts this. Well, they say they have retrieved it. The blade was brought by myself as a gift for you from an interested party who wishes to speak of perhaps a wedding to your fine daughter. But these fine individuals that you had the wise foresight to hire were able to retrieve the blade when some unruly orcs saw fit to take it from me. And Amir kind of laughs and says, "Ah, Khalil, your incompetence never ceases to amaze me." Well, I'm glad to see that my business associates here were successful in bringing me the blade. Dwarf, Morgrim, was it?
Aye.
Bring forward the blade. Let me lay my eyes upon it.
Just sort of reluctantly step forward, unsheath the blade with practiced ease, and then hold it out flat, palms up, for him to look at.
He kind of leans forward, and you see him sort of appraise it. I hear your people are quite good with the steelworks, Dwarf. What do you make of it?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd be sad to see it leave my hands. It's a fine piece of work.
Bit of a unusual design, don't you think?
It was certainly not one I'm familiar with. The druid seems to think that it's ensorcelled in some way.
Magic. I do like magic. Always useful to have magic. Very well. If you would sheath it for me again. He
go
lets
to...
you sheath the blade and then sort of reaches out his chubby hands and sort of takes it off you.
I believe McDowd in chat has described the man as unskinned, by the way. Right?
I think he's bordering on full fat.
Yeah.
So as he goes to take the blade off me, I hold on to it for a wee minute and I just say to him, with respect, Hasani, it would be a shame that a blade of such potency would just sit and gather dust.
See, and what would you have me do with it?
Put it in the hands of someone that can wield it on your behalf.
You offer to wield this blade as my champion?
Aye.
What have you just signed us all up for?
It's an interesting proposition, not one I'd considered.
Well, Mr. Sani,
Amir Hasani, please.
Amir Hasani, forgive me. Obviously, the orcs in the Cave of Shadows, they're not going to be the only problem facing this region. We could perhaps help with other problems that might pop up.
It's an interesting proposition. You have seemed to handle this orc matter, and you assure me the issue is dealt with, not something I need to worry about further.
Certainly, any denizens of the Cave of Shadows have been dispatched of. As to whether their tribe has any other locations, that I do not know.
Tell me what happened. Weave me a story, halfling.
Of course. We happened upon Khalil being savaged by two of the orcs just on the outskirts of the cave. Myself.
Damn it, Khalil.
I love this guy. Yes. It was fortunate that we had arrived just in time. Otherwise, who knows what fate Khalil would have seen. But we managed to dispose of the two orcs attacking him with ease. We then, at that point, set upon exploring the cave itself. More of their kin littered the caverns, as well as an absolutely foul, horrendous ogre, which, if you have ever had the displeasure of placing your eyes upon one, is a beast to behold. However, I was able to fell the foul creature, despite my, and he sort of chuckles, relative stature.
He had help, by the way.
Of course, we all did this. Further to that, we managed to find where the orcs had stashed the goods that they had stole from Khalil, as well as the obsidian blade itself, hidden away on the cart.
Khalil sort of sheepishly interrupts. Obsidian Reaver.
Forgive me, Obsidian Reaver.
You see Amir sort of glances at Khalil and rolls his eyes. Well, that's quite the tale. Seems you are far more competent than I initially believed, but I'm glad you were successful. I'm intrigued by your offer, Morgrim, and I would be remiss to not consider it, but I must tell you, Kalimshan is a place of law and order. If you are to act in my employ, there are contracts that must be completed. It is not a simple handshake deal. Are you willing to put quill to paper?
I've done many things in
Any
my life that I
line?
regret, Hasani, but I don't think that this will be one of them.
Then you are willing to sign a contract.
I sort of look at the others, and then I say, well, I am, but I can't speak for my compatriots.
It is a commitment. I would like to read over the terms and perhaps take some time to consider it, but in principle, I would be happy to enter your employ.
Very well.
I take off my hood for the first time and look over at him, bow in a kind of in a manner he's potentially unused to, being a monk, and speak up and say, Amir Hasani, I'm grateful for your for the prospect of falling under your employ, but I have but one master. I'm afraid I cannot sign any such contract.
I respect that. And what of you, elf woman?
It's an elf woman. Very well. That's it. That's all.
She doesn't talk much.
Don't talk much.
Takes Obsidian Reaver and places it next to him. I am willing to allow you to use the blade, but it will be in my service. Those are the terms. Whether you sign the contract or you all sign the contract is up to you. I expect loyalty, but equally, loyalty is rewarded. And he claps his hands, and as he does so, the door opens again, and a number of servants come in carrying a small chest, which they throw down sort of gingerly next to the Amir, and he opens it, and you see it's just glittering with gold up to the top.
Godel says with a smirk, well, that is a very generous payment.
If only you were getting all of it. He sort of reaches in and counts out handfuls of coin. Your agreed payment, 20 gold pieces each. And he sort of passes them over to you via the servants, never kind of dealing with you personally, with the exception of taking Obsidian Reaver from Morgrim. This is but a sampling of the wealth I can share with those who act well in my service, and you seem as competent as any individuals I know. If you stay in my employ, we can keep this on a one-at-a-time basis. I'm happy to do so. If you wish to sign a contract, I will see you paid fairly, Morgrim, and allow you full use of Obsidian Reaver. Khalil, in response to your benefactor's request, tell him even a blade as fine as this is no match for my daughter's worth. I refute his offer, but I will keep the sword.
At that point, Godel just turns around to just see what
Khalil is sort of paling visibly. But you may leave, Khalil. We're finished here. Khalil sort of...
This guy's amazing.
But Khalil, and he kind of just bows slightly as sort of very awkwardly shuffles backwards out of the room. Apologies for that. He is pain in my ass.
You know, I tried to find out who it was he was working for, but he was being kept very tight-lipped about it.
One of my peers across Kalimshan is
Amir.
persistent in trying to have my daughter's hand, occasionally sending gifts and tokens, but well, he's not for her. Let's put it that way. I will see her wed to only the finest of stock, not some upstart.
Too right, as you should.
Indeed, but I'll take the gifts. Who wouldn't?
I'll drink to that. And Godel raises his little goblet of wine.
Indeed. In additional recognition of your fine service, I'll see that you are all provided room and board for the next few nights at the Golden Hookah. You should enjoy the services provided there, as well as the company if you're particularly inclined. I'll have contracts sent over. Those of you who wish to sign them may do so. Morgrim, if you accept my offer, then the Reaver will be waiting here for you. And he kind of pats the hilt.
Thank you.
That's most generous of you, Amir Hasani.
Treat my friends well. There are a number of matters that may need your attention, whether it is under contract or on a one-off basis. I'll be in contact as and when. But go! Enjoy my fine town. You've deserved a bit of rest and probably a bath.
Yes. Again, I apologize for our uncouth appearance.
Under circumstances, I will let it fly.
Much obliged, Amir Hasani. We will be back in touch once we have had a chance to read over the contracts.
He raises the jewel-encrusted goblet, sort of tosses it in the air to you, takes a swig and says, "You may leave."
Godel will bow politely, neck his wine, and then he'll walk out.
Okay.
And then...
You all take your leave?
Yes.
Yep.
Very well. Well, this is a very interesting development. I don't know about you, but shall we all get checked in at the Golden Hookah? Was it?
Golden Hookah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that
Hookah
one,
like a
but-
smoking device, not a lady.
Yes, it is indeed a smoking device.
The smoking device, not the Let's get checked in. Let's get rested up and cleaned up, and then perhaps we can talk things over dinner tonight.
Sounds good.
Okay. The four of you take your leave of the Hasani aboard and make your way across Albahas to the Golden Hookah, where you will talk about your next steps and your plans going forward. And I think that's where we'll leave tonight's session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll pick up next week. Congratulations, you have completed the Cave of Shadows.
Woo!
And I'm happy to inform you that you have all leveled up to level 2.
Yay!
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
So prior to next week's session, you can all level yourselves up. We're going to be using milestone XP, so I won't be giving you XP amounts. You'll just be leveling up when you hit certain story beats.
Cool.
So next session, you'll be level 2, and we'll pick up the next adventure. But that is the Cave of Shadows done, and you have gained the favour of Amir Hasani and perhaps the distaste of Khalil Seif and his benefactor.
Oh, Khalil didn't really do himself any favours there. I'll just point that out.
Khalil was a bit of
Didn't do him
a
any favours
bellend.
either.
I do kind of feel that what type of guy employs Khalil? I'm not really that worried about this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like he's probably like all his employees are on 0-hour contracts. Is that kind of rich benefactor, you know?
Yeah.
It turns out his employee is the owner of Weatherspoons.
He's employed by Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, guys, that is the end of tonight's session. Thank you, everyone in chat who has joined us. We will be back same time next week.
Yeah, I think Scruffy guys are going to get working on some Mogrim Obsidian Reaver fan fiction.
Yeah.
I like it.
I look forward to seeing that, Scruffy guy.
Erotic fan art of Mogrim and Obsidian.
Oh, erotic.
I don't want to see that.
Nothing good can come of that.
All right, thanks everyone. That is the end of tonight's episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.